Alright, let's do this one more time. Ahoy hoy, friends and enemies. I love Dishonored 1. The first just has something about it that the later games miss out on. I love the game feel, the art style that would totally be used in a TV show about the game if they didn't already use it in Arcane, and the story and themes. So before the year ends, I will cap off this year of Dishonored challenge runs with one more. Can you beat Dishonored without sneaking? The rules are a little less simple this time. Starting off, Corvo is getting a bit older, and when you reach that age, your joints are buggered, so no more crouching. If you don't crouch, you are easier to hear and easier to see. I even actually played the hide and seek with Emily to see what I'm in for.
See you! Did you really think you could hide there?
I am screwed. Peers have stated that my previous challenges are too easy. In a pistol-only run, you maintain low chaos entirely through selective elimination. So, new rule, fight or flight? Gone. If I get detected by anyone, I must eliminate them. And sleep darts are a finite resource, so I may need to kill more than I expected. So one wrong detection can screw up the whole run and possibly end up with me shooting up a bordello. And with all that out of the way, let's begin. I already mentioned that I played with the future murder stabber, so let's skip right up to the Empress getting the extended lockdown notice, the assassins I kill, and my baby mama getting gutted. I'm framed, let's escape from New York. I do grab the sword this time, as I'll need it, and I try to knock out the first guard. I was able to get the drop on him, but he reached a level 2 pre-alert before I choked him out, meaning stealth is gonna be tricky in close quarters. I tried to hide between the pillars, keeping my distance, but in adjusting my position, I draw the attention from the guards. I make it to the next room, but almost had to start stabbing, as one of the guards hit level 3 pre-alert. This is when guards try to run up to you, but before you are properly detected, as they must flash red for it to count, and then I'll have to kill them. A few more close call chokeholds later, and I get to the courtyard and take first blood. I'm not able to choke out this guard, so I conclude to silence him before he can alert his comrade, enabling me to choke out the other. I silence another guard and climb on the pipes. I tried to get the drop on the doorman, but I stood on him, alerting both him and his friend below, adding 2 more notches to my sword. Blow the doors off and swim into the sewer. The first hiccup of the run is in the sewer, where there's a crawl space you'll have to, well, crawl through. Because I don't want to invalidate the run so soon, I make sure the guards are aware of my presence before they get eaten by rats. The sewers are short and sweet, but I determine I can go from a slide to a sprint, so I don't have to rule it out for certain small spaces. I use 1 sleep dart on the guard who is about to see me, and I swim to safety. Total kill count, 4. While I rob the loyalists blind for upgrade money, allow me to explain something about the chaos system that was only revealed rather recently. They increase in increments of 6 through a hidden calculator. How to increase them is calculated as follows. Kill X amount of a certain group and gain 6 points. For civilians, X is 1, meaning 1 civilian nets you 6 additional chaos points. Targets may also have an X value of 1. Meaning I netted approximately 42 points on my pistol-only run solely from target kills. For hostile groups, X is about 4 or 5 per faction. Guards, gang members, assassins. If I kill no more than, let's say, 3 or 4 each, I shouldn't get a point, but if I go over, chaos goes up. So whether or not I amass high chaos is dependent on how many people see me. Anyway, meet up with the outsider.
Piss off, ghost!
And set off on my first mission. The first upgrade I purchase is the combat sleep dart, so if I do get detected, I should be able to mitigate a few chaos points, but like I've said, sleep darts aren't infinite, nor are they free. The first bone charm I find in Arthur's cuckolding den is a bust, so my first real stop is Granny Rags' house. All powers are on the table this run, so I need runes, but I'm giving myself 2 exceptions. Bend time 2, and both levels of possession are banned, as I seem to deem them too stealthy. Bend time 1 is okay since it slows time, not freezes it, and you can still get seen. I send the first 2 doormen to sleep, but I decapitate the third, netting me 1 rune. I could get another by poisoning the still, but I choose not to do that as it would also increase chaos, and getting the rat guts might jeopardize myself. So I just steal another rune from Granny's back garden. I saved Griff, proving that the MVP of the run is Blink, as it allows me to move without making noise, even allowing me to rummage the distillery for a few extra bits of cash, silently. I find some extra sleep darts too, however I do notice a few blinks force me into a crouching position, so for the sake of fairness I will back up and return to my legs. I raid Galvani's apartment, but I almost get caught by the maid while trying to dispose of a sleeping guard and shot her to make sure she didn't call anyone. I place a sleeping couple on Galvani's bed before I leave. I almost got caught trying to survey how to proceed and opted to take the underpass. Several gang members are arguing about their cut from a dead body and start fighting each other. I choose to eliminate the survivors. Inside Holger Square, I choke out an overseer and save Martin, and give myself a high jump, taking me directly to the windows. This is when things go balls up. I rewired the alarm outside Campbell's office to make sure the shutters stay open if I screw up, and boy do I screw up. I lure Campbell's soup and Tywin Lannister, this joke doesn't make sense as he's Callista's uncle, not her father, outside of the office to trick the latter into fleeing by darting the High Overseer. However, I bumped into an Overseer and closed the door on myself, rendering me detected. I used 2 sleep juices on Kurnow and an Overseer and stabbed 2 others, the target fleeing to his panic room, making him an easy knockout. With the guards all alert, I buy dark vision to see through walls, something I haven't done since my first runs, condemning me to Weenie Hut Juniors. More close calls and sleep darts are spent upstairs, and I brand the High Overseer. All that's left is to shove Jeff in a bin, and I flee. I sleep 1 Overseer and kill another to save a witch and her witch hunter brother. I tried to reach the safe in the barracks, but I get caught by 1 Overseer and shot, everyone else on high alert. I determined it's not worth it, finishing the level with a total kill count of 5, which is less than I thought. I was surprised by the amount of sleep darts I could find. I receive thanks from Sarah Connor for saving her uncle, and I immediately sell her family heirloom for upgrades. The next morning I spend 2 sleep darts on Weepers, no big deal as I know Piero will reimburse me for the living subjects in the following mission. I received 2 runes for my efforts and max out the crossbow, since I think I will need to eliminate several individuals from range quietly. Once I return to Clavering Boulevard, I purchase Shadow Kill. That way, if I need to use the stabby instead of the choky holdy, I will at least leave no evidence. The first stop is the distillery to meet with Slackjaw. Unlike the last time, I intend to follow his questline to completion, as well as looting his house for cash. On the rooftops, I stay high above the assassins and blink behind them to eliminate them. Remember when I mentioned chaos is determined by how many of a specific group are killed? It was around here I started playing the numbers game. I choke out 2 assassins, but kill a third with a bolt, meaning that chaos is utterly minimal. I spent 1 of the tranquilizers on an officer on the balcony I intended to re-enter Galvani's house from. Again, the Blinken Strangle is MVP for clearing out the building, but I sometimes forget that readjusting my position makes noise. I return to Slackjaw with the details of the man's death, and he gives me the key to a slum, in which my visitation is detoured by saving a maid from police brutality. All cops are bastards, even in Dishonored. I darted 1, but slain the other. Numbers game. Inside Bordello Avenue, I start playing extra cautious. My pistol run ended with me shooting up a brothel because I got spotted from a window by a hooker walking down the stairs. So I take extra care to erotically asphyxiate everyone on the roof and balcony. I can't crawl through the windows, so I just blink in and choke out the call girl before they screw up this stealthy no-stealth. I even get the drop on the madame and swipe a key so I can get Emily out of the building before I turn the place into another grindhouse film. One more trick to getting through tight squeezes is to teleport to the other side of them, preventing me from bending my knees. This allows me to eventually enter the main atrium. There's a lot of possible witnesses, so I employ the usage of bend time. Remember, bend time 1 doesn't violate the rules as it slows time, not freezes it. I even hear the jingle that plays when a witness starts to see you as I go through the room, but it was still a tier 1 detection even if I didn't know who it came from. The art dealer and I use the BDSM tickle torture machine until he gives up the password to his safe and I bolt, preventing another whorehouse bullet fest. Remember the maid I rescued earlier? She gave me the key to the house of her former employer, the art dealer. So I pop inside through the back door I never use. There were gang members inside the building and I was being chewed by a rat swarm. I had the clever idea of tricking the gangsters into being eaten by the rats. But the men must have called down their buddies from upstairs as it was 4 people against a swarm of rats and the men won. So, sod it. I used slow time to kill all 4 of them. Numbers game. As long as I don't kill any more, I should be fine. Probably. I raid the safe and give Slackjaw the luck combination, and by the time he realizes I swindled him and cleaved his men, I'll be long gone. Another assassin appeared on the rooftops to try and ambush me, but I got him. 7 people dead total, but between the 4 gang members, 1 assassin, and 1 guard, I counted 6. I must have missed one or accidentally dropped one onto some janky debris. As promised, Piero reimbursed me, and I bought another rune off of him. Next up, the Royal Physician. Again, I almost forget that readjusting my shoes will clue in the guards, so I heard the warning tingle again. I pick up a blueprint that will become a game changer starting next mission. The guards again get clued in by the loud noises I make, but this time it wasn't footsteps, it was gunshots, as I was too lazy to walk around and pick up a rune. At this point in the run, I stop thinking of a 10 sleep dart capacity as a limiting factor, as it's just become too easy to only selectively eliminate certain targets from afar. I begin doubting myself whether or not this is even a decent challenge. If I wanted to play a mode where I'm easier to detect, I could have played it on hard mode. Anyway, my attempt to blink onto the bridge stairwell fails, and I buckle my kneecaps and almost get seen by the guards. Almost. At the top of the bridge, I fell towards my death. I think that's the first death this run. While going down the bridge, I finally get detected by guards. Again, from the sounds I make, I kill 3 of them and trank 3 more. But I heard the alarm go off in the distance. I don't see any more witnesses, so I bail before I have to add to the body count. Saved a woman from rats to offset the bad karma. As is always, Sokolov's pimp-ass bachelor pad is a piece of cake. Just dart the guard on the roof and drag the old man out of his greenhouse. At times like these, I wish there was some sort of a range mode for the game, the targets being in more varied locations to throw you off your game. If modders ever crack the code on Dishonored modding scene, let it happen. Anyway, old Slavic grandpa is dragged back to the boat. Oddly, the end of level stats said I only killed 2 guards, despite a 3rd clearly falling off a ledge to his demise. I guess gravity got the kill? I just got an assist. Bloomin' kill stealers. Back at the base, I pay Piero a visit and unlock both ranks of boot stealth. No longer shall I emit a noise while running or sprinting. I almost typed springing in the script. A hybrid of a run and a sprint? Isn't that a jog? I digress. Point is, now only how I look, not sound, will play a factor. The following morning, I chastised Piero for acting like a pervert. I act like a pervert, and because Sokolov was so well behaved and didn't mess up my run again, I gave the old pervert a bottle of brandy. Anyway, off to go crash a party. Piece of cake. My high jump and long blink keep me far out of harm's way, and I spend 2 sleep darts on Weepers before slipping in through the front door. I also shoot Lord Shaw with another sleep dart instead of a bullet this time, but his bodyguards act like he's dead anyway. Oh well. Mrs. White tells me who's dressed as what, while Brisby gives me the good news that my target is Esma the Hoe, as she is quite easy to get away from prying witnesses. Canonically, as per the novels, Waverly Boyle is the target, and Lydia goes cuckoo bananas, leaving Esma as the heiress. Esma takes me to her bedroom, and I show her my choking kink. I even show off my kink to 3 of the 4 guards upstairs, allowing me to rob the family of all the possessions before taking Esma's living corpse to the basement. I even use slow time to give me an edge, just in case anyone spots me carrying the body. I brought Esma to the basement, but in trying to avoid some nasty rat swarms, I tried going over the balcony, only to freeze in midair and drop Lady Boyle to her death. Lord Brisby takes off with a dead body. He's not complaining, so he might be a necrophiliac for all I know. I take a small detour to grab another bone charm and slice a single guard to prevent him from calling the tall boys. Mission ends with 1 hostile dead and 1 civilian. I assume the ladies Boyle cannot defend themselves, they count as civilian targets rather than hostile targets. But I got ghost, meaning I was never detected, sparing me from another ballroom blitz. I didn't pick up the reward from the Boyle matriarch for sparing the other 2 ladies Boyle. My bad, as I really could have used the money. But I did get another rune from Pendleton. I gave myself Wind Blast, as I predicted I could need it very soon. I upgrade my pistol, again, just in case, but it leaves me rather spent for cash. Now for the final of my targets, Lord Regent Hiram Burrows. The jaunt up the waterlock is easy peasy, and I retraced the assassin's steps from the beginning. From this vantage point, I could scope out my method of ingress. As I am forbidden from crouching, the John McClane method is forbidden. My only choice is the front door. Instead of going to the right, I go to the left, over the gazebo, until I reach the moat controls, where a friendly minimum wage worker will let me swim up the moat to reach the door. Watch for piranhas. Once inside, I blink and high jump all the way to the broadcast tower for the password to the soon-to-be-deposed Lord Regent's safe. rob the safe, take a small detour to Turnbull's office for the exploding bullets. I remember where it is from last year's little adventure around the castle, and then watch the Lord Regent get impeached. The escape was equally as uneventful, except I died twice trying to jump into the water from the gazebo. I predict there's an invisible kill zone before you land. One last to looting the base, I buy explosive bullets from Piero, go to the Winchester, have a nice cold pint, and wait for this all to blow over. I'm now riddled with alcohol poisoning, my mates have stranded me on a boat in the middle of Blackpool, and I'm knocked out by Dowd, the leader of the local Blackpool gang.
Hey, you. You're finally awake.
Ahoy hoy friends and enemies, I love the Dishonored DLCs because it lets you play as Dowd, the coolest character from Dishonored. Don't at me. It's the best bits of DLC done right. Get more game with new powers and challenges, just love it. Wished it got more appreciation. So I will be answering the question, can you beat Dishonored, the Knife of Dunwall and Brigmore Witches without sneaking? Okay, joking aside, with the challenge in the base game progressively getting easier and easier, I thought it would be a nice palate cleanser to basically start over. Blink has a bend time ability now, so for the sake of fairness, I will try to avoid using it stealthily and instead prioritize bend time to make sick jumps. I do buy a full complement of sleep darts. Now, I should explain the chaos system. It works differently than in the base game, as now each kill nets you chaos points. Hostiles net 1 point, civvies net 3. No more playing the numbers. The first use of sleep darts is when a butcher hears me and walks upstairs to investigate. Restocks can only occur between missions, so everything during is OSP. But with the butcher out of the way, I can grab the first bone charm and it's strong arms! Already MVP. First thing I purchase with the runes are the first tiers of agility and shadow kill. I figure I may have to kill people and it prevents a ruckus if there's no evidence. This is immediately put to use as I snatch up the stun mine blueprints. Trust me, we will need this, and no guards will spot the body. I grabbed the time card from the guardhouse safe, netting me a way in, saving the sleep darts inside for later if I need to restock. Inside the slaughterhouse, I head to the highest point for a vantage and a rune, but the cutscene with Billy Lurk makes me clip into the ground for some reason. I'm almost seen exiting the meat locker, so I make haste towards Bundry's office and show him why you don't mess with the Union. I choose to torture him instead of blowing up the slaughterhouse. Seems like exploding will net you high chaos regardless of how many you kill. The journey to the torture room was quick and simple, and I got what I needed. I even decided to spare Mr. Rothwild out of the kindness of my heart. The journey to his new coffin-shaped home would be a long one. I wanted a bone charm that was on the main floor, so I put Sleeping Beauty somewhere out of the way and tried to trank the butchers. You must be exceptionally careful and avoid darting the armored areas. One of them did see me, but was subdued, costing me an extra dart. Killing the unarmored one just to save resources, but the butchers in the next room spotted me and ran over to fight me. I attempted to get the drop on him, but he brought friends who got the drop on me. I'm now down to 4 sleep darts, but I scrounged up 2 more in Rothwild's office, which I would immediately use in the whale oil extraction room to clear it for a bit of whale euthanasia. Anyway, I stopped mucking about and put Rothwild in a third-class box to Iceland. I returned to the now repopulated whale room to try and escape through the meat juice pipe, so I could grab another bone charm on my way out, but the pipe requires crouching and cannot be blinked through, so I just left through the side door back the way I came in. I grabbed some extra darts from earlier and got another rune from Granny's recipe. To save Billy from the outsiders, you can just smoke bomb them. 5 hostiles dead by the end of the mission. Start of the next mission, I buy myself stun mines. Trust me, these are, as the youths would say, a goat. At some point, I gave myself Blink 2 so I could reach further places. Past the wall of light, I ignore the main objective and instead head out into the main streets, taking out everyone in the guard barracks as they went upstairs. All so I could loot another blueprint, this time for boot stealth. This long-winded detour actually has a function to it all. As I enter the Hatter base and eliminate everyone inside, I have a purpose. See, if you approach from the rear, you can spy on 2 Hatters who will ambush you in rescuing Abigail Timsh.
Interesting. You know what else is interesting? Grenades.
My home invasion is just me trying to find anything I can throw, because if you put a mine like a spring razor, arc mine, or stun mine onto anything you can throw, you can turn it into a makeshift grenade. Combined with an empty wine bottle, I have a stun grenade to throw at the 2 gangsters. My plan, however, Fails. As the bottle is destroyed, the mine only takes out one hatter. So I take out the others the old-fashioned way. Now for Barrister Timsh himself. Fun fact. This mission was originally in the base game and was shown off to the press, but it got cut from the game and moved into the DLC. If there is any gameplay footage of this, it could be lost media. Anyway, I have to swipe the will and key from the barrister, and I can only do it through pickpocketing, which is off the table, or if he's otherwise indisposed. If he's on the second floor, he reportedly goes from balcony smoke break, but he's on the first floor, just my luck. I pay Dark Eyes a visit, and he must be excited. He's bouncing up and down. To navigate the garden-infested building, I give myself Void Gaze rank 2, condemning me to Super Weenie Hut Juniors. As I'm robbing the top floor, my luck has favored me, as Timsh and his bodyguard are slowly making their way up the stairs. I tried to clear a path of any obstructions, but botched a chokehold that got me seen and the alarms rung. I had to dart Timsh and his guards. I rushed into the basement to drop a dead baby in his AC and watched as the barrister woke up only to be arrested. I then grabbed the will and ransacked the place. I even made good use of the stun mines by placing one in a doorway and smashing a glass display to loot it, drawing the guards in. Then I did it again! Anyway, mission success. I snatch a health bonus bone charm next to a noble hiding from me and leave. In an embarrassing turn of events, I fell off a roof. Abigail pays me the big bucks, and I leave. 3 hostiles dead, but 5 bodies discovered. This might net me some bad karma, even if I'm still low. Start of the surge, I nab boot stealth 1, but not 2. I can now walk freely, but not sprint, and get an extra charge for the stun mine, so I can stop 3 people rather than 2. I try out the new upgrades immediately by placing a mine and continually luring the overseers down the stairs and knock them all out. And with them all knocked out, I can rescue my men. The second assassin I saved, using only sleep darts. This level is loaded with spare darts anyway. Third assassin is surrounded by 3 overseers, so time to use the mine again. I used the choke dust to distract them and placed the mine on the back of the musical man, but it broke after it got set off. Note to self, living bodies make terrible grenades. The rest get darted. I do move the bodies off the puddles though, so they don't drown. I get to use the stun mine properly when I find the overseer's plans. Assassin number 4 is inside the base, so I go back the way I left earlier, as it's straight up safer. Though I did kill 1 man. Once more, smoke bomb, electro mine, all that was left is Overseer Hume. And I decided, I've been such a good boy, I can go on a little rampage. As a treat. I murder my way to the empty floor, and used Summon Assassin to try that help thing again. Sadly, I only got 1 assassin, but at least Billy helped. A few more smoke bombs and murders, rampage, little treat, and I finished the DLC in low chaos and spare Billy so she can appear in the next game. 11 bodies found, and 8 dead. For the entire Knife of Dunwall DLC, I estimate my invisible chaos number as 28, as the bodies discovered also follow the X is 6 rule from the base game. Not bad. Sparing the remaining overseers might have dropped it a few numbers. Brigmore Witches open up with a dream fight with Corvo, and because I'm not weapon restricted, I actually win! For a small inter-DLC rant, I have not yet been able to attain a copy of The Return of Doubt, but I came close. Waterstones has the book listed on their website for the standard retail price, and it did not say that it was out of stock. For other books, it did say out of stock, but for Return of Doubt, it said it didn't. It also said it would arrive in 3 to 4 weeks. Anyway, Waterstones are liars. Pardon me for wanting a book for less than 200 quid. Back on topic, I have to break into Coleridge Prison. Normally, what I would do is buy the Overseer disguise, but for the sake of the challenge, I thought it would be more entertaining if I did it in a less stealthy manner. I have to blink out of the starting area because I cannot duck, but this becomes a problem later. I climb up the wall to find the yard where they are executing the guard who helped Corvo escape earlier, and he tells me precisely where Lizzie's prison cell is. I gain the high ground and open Lizzie Stride's cell first and foremost. When approaching the cells, the guards are on heightened alert. I assume one of the prisoners caught a glimpse of me and snitched, but I was still able to break the alarm and steal some stun mines I had shipped in. I would need them. I wanted to collect the bone charm that was beneath Lizzie's cell, so I dragged her out of hers first before I opened another. If you pull the lever first thing, it skips her talking and she just slumps to sleep immediately. I gave myself the pull ability so I could grab some items in another cell while Barrister Timsh is shouting. Turns out pull is extremely handy. while returning to the door controller. By blink, that should be my, failed and I fell onto several guards, killing one and stunning 3. I got very lucky none of them went for the second alarm in the courtyard. Speaking of the courtyard, I used pull to snatch another bone charm. Anyhow, with everything worth taking being took, I head for the exit, which is where I started getting clever. I cannot bring the body in with me without crouching, so instead I put her down, slide in, which we've established is legal for this run if I exit back into a sprint, and then picked up Lizzie from the other side. Only one person dead. Start of next mission, I watched the gang fight and decided to let one of my assassins try and even the odds. It didn't work, so I slashed them myself. I stopped by the black market, which we have in this level due to the sheer size of it. You can use pull to steal from people without crouching, and I got Void Surge from Jerome. This particular bone charm is only in the Void Walker's arsenal, so it's locked from me for my challenge runs, as I don't permit those items in my runs. I get inside the dock and just make my way from the rims to the water so I can climb inside the ship and strangle Edgar Wakefield. With everyone no longer hostile, I get back to looting before heading to the Hatters. I also slice a bloke for Jerome the dealer, because he'd pay me. I got rank 2 of pull because I can lift people, but there's evidently a limit on how high they can go, as little a tug I gave one of them just annoyed him. I darted both Hatters. To turn off the arc pylon, I needed a key from one of them, so I used pull on the sleeping bodies to bring me them for looting. I found the ragdolling to be funny. Infiltration to the textile mill wasn't as slick as my Assassin's Only run, as I fell on top of a guy and wound up having to use a stun mine on the lot. But they de-aggroed when I talked to Nurse Trimble and Lizzie Stride's father. Bet you didn't know that little tidbit. The sleeping bodies, however, were still there. Inside the sewers, I once again prove how overpowered leaning is, because I'm so close to the witches' faces I can smell their breath. The stun mine I placed knocks out one witch, but the other blinks away. But when I turn around, the stun mine goes off, leaving a sword, but no body. Another weird quirk of pull, when I tried to collect another bone charm, I got a rat instead, and picking up one rat made all the others explode. I got past a really low gate, my blinking, that should be by, how did I screw that up, twice, past it, and stood beside a witch for a hot second before either of them noticed me. While scanning the room with void gaze, I noticed a third witch already unconscious. This might have been the third witch from earlier who phased through walls.
It just works.
The rest of the sewers is incident-free other than the fact I shot a Weeper twice. Why did I do that? I got the water flowing again, Trimble gave me the engine coil, and I accidentally set off the alarm on the way out. Whoopsie daisies. I pay the black market one last visit for a full complement of stun mines and head back to the ship. I read that the witches will ambush you from the wiki, but the ambush location was empty, possibly because I eliminated all the witches in the sewers. In fact, the witches didn't attack the boat. I wonder what determines the witch attack. Oh well, less witches to murder. 4 killed by my hand, all Hatters. Final mission of the Brigmore Witches and the DLCs as a whole. While spending the last of my coin, I saved 2,000 coins, simply because I wanted the achievement enough coin to disappear. But I misremembered it, turns out you needed 10,000 coins, not 2,000. I could have spent that money on the rest of the upgrades. Oh well. Just as before, I take a route around the witches, meeting the redcoat turncoat, and getting the crypt key. However, when heading to the crypt, I get into scrapes with a witch. It turns out I'm not great in one-on-one with someone who can teleport everywhere. I used her head as an arc grenade. Once inside, I turned the whole manor into a bloodbath. I stunned the witch who came to check up on the ailing overseer, and once I reached the entrance to the west wing, I let the assassins out to play, just like last time. During the bloodbath, I get a few insta-kills, but the animations are all wonky. Maybe it's my graphical settings. Maybe it's the fact that I'm standing, but I had been hoping to see the wrist bow kill, only to get a mangled variation of it. The witches inside the painting room were a particular annoyance as they kept summoning hentai tentacles, which messed up the stun mines. Inside the painting, all I do is stay high above out of sight and swap the paintings where Delilah has her back turned. Trapping her ready for the sequel. 13 dead and 8 bodies seen. So my total approximate chaos tally for Brigmore Witches totals at 24, and 52 for the whole DLC run. Yes, you can indeed beat the DLCs without sneaking, and also in low chaos. Emily saved, and now Dowd faces Corvo's judgment. Oh wait! After Corvo woke up from his massive bender, he used the Force to open the cage. An assassin pops in and I jostle him around until he bangs his head. I dump the body in the water. I have my choice of swords, and since I got the assassin's knife in the DLCs, I choose the overseer sword, which weirdly looks like the sacrificial knife that made the outsider. Despite the assassin I threw down with, there's still 2 upstairs, so I assume that a third just spawns in. I lack my sleep darts, so I opt to slow time and stab them both in quick succession. I also found a note where Dowd addresses Ronaldo about the Brigmore Witches. I cannot remember if this is here before the DLCs, so this could have been a teaser. Also, Ronaldo is featured in the book. Anyway, I'm left quite low for mana. Another fun fact, according to the books, using powers in quick succession makes the user tired, and the potions give them a bit of a boost to stay awake. Therefore, mana potions are canonically caffeine. Corvo's just shooting up espresso to shoot rats out of his ass. If you saw my pistol-only run, you will have noticed how I used the alternate entrance to the refinery. I climb up with ease, then had an embarrassing time where I just fell down, repeatedly. I slide down the chain and slow time to grab my stuff before former High Overseer Campbell spots me and I'll be forced to kill him. I wrote Camobel in the script. And then I break Corvo's already brittle knees on my way out. I exit through the other door, which causes me to fight and slay 4 Weepers. It's a mercy. Assassins looking for me are struck with ease and create no resistance to reach Dowd's base. Obviously, it's more flooded than last time, and an important hole I use to get around is closed. I have one real way in, and in trying to reach it, I kill 2 dogs. Fun fact, apparently they don't count as real kills, but they do make me a monster. If you kill the hounds in the first mission, they apparently don't show up here, so that's one reason to stop by the kennels, I guess. Instead of my usual idea of getting in above, I get in the same entrance from below. I kill another assassin because I botched a chokehold, but I sleep dart the rest as there's a pile of them nearby. I clear a way to Dowd himself. If you approach him in low chaos, he sends away his assassins to fight you one-on-one.
None of your concern. I have one more surprise for you. I asked for my life. When I killed your Empress and took her daughter, something broke inside me. Now I see the design on the back of your hand, the mark of the outsider himself. And I remember all I've done. The years of waiting for the right moment to step forward from an alley and drive a knife between the ribs of some noble. All the money exchanging hands from one rich bastard or another. Killing for one of them 1 year, then being paid to kill him in return the next. But what have I accomplished? More than you have, or much less. I remember bending at the shrines, listening as the outsider whispered that I was going to change things, that I was somehow important. It felt good. Made me believe I was powerful. Now I want nothing but to leave this city and fade from the memory of those who reside here. I've had enough killing. The men you worked for asked you to kill for them, but you found some other way. You took a path I could have followed, but did not. So my life is in your hands. Make your choice. And you choose mercy. Extraordinary.
With Dowd spared and in low chaos, the assassins de-aggro and won't stop you from looting the place. Next up, the Rudshore Gate. Normally I just hitch a ride on the Corpse Wagon, name of my new death metal band, but I decided to do a side quest I've only ever done one other time. Way off to the side, there are some plague survivors with hats that are not seen on anyone else, who want to get out of there. You deactivate some arc pylons and fend off tall boys, but luckily for me, the tall boys never came close, so mission accomplished. I just went back to the way I came in and rode on the wagon. Killed one guard though. When I leave the sewers, the objective for rescuing the survivors is registered as failed. I am baffled as to why. Anyway, the sewer trip leads me to Grandma Hag and Slackjack. I inadvertently rendered Granny hostile, so I rushed in and burnt the cameo where she keeps her soul, and dart her to sleep. But she fell off to her demise. Whoops. Anyway, minus some river crusts, the rest of the sewers were uneventful. 8 dead, 4 assassins, 3 Reapers, 1 guard. Granny is counted as a civilian. For the Handpits pub return, I tried to grab the arc pylon blueprints, but I open a door while trying to peep through it. I sleep dart them, but my actions cause the guards in the building to search for me and funnel into one hallway. So I slow time and dart them all. I get to Piero and Sokolov and activate the arc pylon, an arguably unstealthy way to put everyone to bed, so I didn't get anyone killed. I use my cash flow to buy a bunch of upgrades and ammunition. 7 bodies found, but nobody dead. On to the final mission. Final mission, Low Chaos King Sparrow. Instead of my usual role, I blink inside a pipe and turn off the walls of light. Enter the courtyard and dart everyone I meet. Can't go under the arc pylon, so I go over it. At the top of the lighthouse, I do something I love and scare the man taking a wee off the lighthouse. Then I fell off, so after I reloaded, I did it again! I could completely avoid the guards here, as it turns out you can just climb the scaffolding and get in through the top. I watch Havelock's soliloquy and enamored by his shadow swapping places faster than I can, and then I give him one good fight. I wonder if this would count for the pistol-only run. He did die by pistol only. 4 policemen and 1 admiral dead. 5 bodies found. So that's 34 people dead by my hand. I killed less people than in my pistol-only run, though having sleep darts helped. Yes, you can indeed beat Dishonored without sneaking, and in Low Chaos too. I had a blast making this run, but that's just because I love Dishonored. The intermission in the middle was done to keep the video from getting stale as it got really easy. Maybe I should have played it at a higher difficulty, but I play all my games at normal difficulty. Maybe one day I'll find a challenge that really takes me down. One day. Feel free, everyone, to suggest them, but for now, 2024, the year of growth for my channel and Dishonored, has come to a close. I hope to have a far better 2025. Thank you all for watching, goodbye, farewell, and remember to wash the dishes. Ta-ra.